6 consecutive nights, now bridges, power facilities, a railway station. America has started hitting Iran's infrastructure, not just its military. 35 dead, 300 wounded. Qatar urged to shelter twice in one night. Iran's warning: damage our infrastructure, and all infrastructure in the region becomes our target. Trump says he's winning big. The region is burning. The fragile pause in the fighting is over. The United States has widened its air campaign against Iran, striking not only military positions but also key infrastructure near the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has responded with fresh missile attacks across the Gulf, warning that any further assault on its infrastructure will bring a devastating response. With both sides escalating, the confrontation is rapidly becoming one of the most dangerous phases of the conflict. The United States expanded its airstrike campaign against Iran early on July 17th, carrying out a 6th consecutive night of attacks. According to US Central Command, American fighter jets, drones, and warships launched precision strikes against dozens of Iranian military targets, including coastal surveillance sites, air defense positions, logistics infrastructure, and maritime capabilities. The latest wave targeted bridges in Iran's southern Hormozgan province, including Bandar Qameh on the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state television reported that at least 7 people were killed in the strikes, while officials said civilian infrastructure, including power facilities and a railway station near Bandar Abbas, had also been hit. Iranian authorities say the latest American attacks have brought the total death toll to more than 35, with over 300 people wounded since the renewed campaign intensified. Speaking in a primetime address, President Donald Trump defended the operation, declaring that the United States was winning big in Iran and saying the results would become clear very soon.
And we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly.
Meanwhile, Iran widened its retaliation across the region. Qatar twice urged residents to take shelter as Iranian missiles targeted the country. Air defense systems intercepted the incoming projectiles, although Qatari authorities said a child was injured by falling debris. Iran also launched attacks towards Bahrain and Kuwait, while Kuwait confirmed it was responding to missile and drone threats. Iran's military also claimed it had targeted American aircraft at a US military base in Bahrain. The collapse of last month's interim ceasefire has revived the battle over the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global shipping route. Since the conflict began on February 28th, Iran has maintained its chokehold over the strait, disrupting maritime traffic and strengthening its negotiating position. Iran's armed forces spokesperson, Brigadier General Abolfazl Shekarchi, warned that any further American attack on Iranian infrastructure would trigger a very devastating response.
If our infrastructure is damaged, all infrastructure in the region will become our target. If the enemies could destroy us, they would not wait an hour. The United States and the illegitimate Zionist regime have no right to be in the region, adding that for years they have been plundering the countries of the region and acting as a source of insecurity.
Shekarchi also insisted Iran would never back down over the Strait of Hormuz.
Islamic Republic's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz is a source of security for the entire region, not insecurity. We insist on the withdrawal of the United States from the region and will never back down regarding the Strait of Hormuz.
As missiles continue to fly across the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz remains at the center of the confrontation, the conflict is no longer confined to military targets alone. With infrastructure, shipping routes, and regional allies increasingly drawn into the fighting, the prospects for de-escalation appear more distant than ever. Donald Trump's former defense secretary has warned that the US will not win its war against Iran through aerial bombardment and must instead strangle the Islamic Republic's economy to force it to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The remarks came after the US launched more strikes on Iran, and Trump said he would step up the attacks in the coming weeks to force the Islamic Republic into a deal. However, Mark Esper, who served as US Defense Secretary during Trump's first term, told the Financial Times that this strategy would not change Iran's stance or its determination to keep control of the strait.
I'm not confident that if we picked up the bombing the way we did months ago and sustained it for a period of time, that would have a big change.
Trump this month declared his short-lived ceasefire with Iran to be over after claiming Iran violated a memorandum of understanding with the US to allow free maritime traffic through the strait while the warring parties negotiated a longer-term settlement. The renewed hostilities threatened to plunge the Middle East back into crisis and trigger a fresh inflationary shock across the global economy. Vessels had travelled freely through the waterway, a sea lane that carries about 20% of the world's oil before the US and Israel launched their war on Iran. Tehran largely closed the strait following the attack, and traffic remains at a fraction of its pre-conflict level. Esper, speaking to an audience of national security experts in Aspen, said the Trump administration should apply comprehensive economic pressure to resolve the Hormuz dispute, which has driven up fuel prices around the world.
How do you pressure them? One option is you resort to full military onslaught. The other one is you strangle them economically. But this would require time, patience, and discipline, as well as international support to be effective. And the cost for us is going to be higher gas prices for a while.
Earlier, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing US officials, that Trump is leaning towards expanding US military operations in Iran after days of briefings from top aides. Officials told the Journal that the options include stepping up airstrikes, sending ground forces to seize Iranian islands near the Strait of Hormuz, and bombing the fortified Pickaxe Mountain site that could be used for covert nuclear work, the latter of which Trump has publicly mused about doing in recent days. In the hours before the meeting, Trump told Fox News that the US may strike bridges and power stations next week, adding that he would save the energy targets for last, but would ultimately hit them.